This year I made so many gardening mistakes I almost didn't want to film this video. From bringing disease into my soil to letting mice eat half of my crops. Here are the painful lessons that I learned so that you don't have to mirror them. Mistake number 1, bad compost. I trusted cheap compost and it turned my garden into a weed farm. I bought cow compost that looked fine on the surface, but it was loaded with weed seeds. Within weeks, every bed I spread it on turned into a jungle. Instead of feeding my plants, I spent the season fighting pigweed and grass popping up everywhere. Next year, I'll only buy compost from trusted suppliers. I'll test small batches before spreading and continue building my own pile to guarantee quality. I find that it is best to pay a little bit more, get quality compost. Mistake number 2. No trellis for my peas. My peas looked fine until they collapsed into a giant tangled mess. Skipping a trellis was a disaster. The plants were impossible to harvest and far more vulnerable to pests. Next year, I'll put up a simple netting or a string trellis before sowing. It only takes a few minutes and makes peas way more productive and enjoyable to grow. It's not fun wasting an entire harvest, and that's what I did this year. Mistake number 3, no irrigation. And then came water, or really the lack of it. No drip irrigation meant my plants suffered all summer long. Stunted growth, stressed leaves, and weak harvest across the board. This even made my plants even more vulnerable to pests. This was by far the biggest mistake that I made this year. Really, wish I could take it back. Next year though, drip irrigation will be the very first thing that I set up, with timers to keep the beds evenly watered, whether I'm in the garden or not. Mistake number 4, rodent invasion. Mice and rats moved in and treated my garden like an all-you-can-eat buffet, a smorgasbord. Huge sections of crops were gone overnight. It took them 2 days to exterminate my sweet potato bed. My kohlrabi didn't stand a chance, and they're still around. Now they're chewing the top half inch of every single carrot. Next year, I'll use hardware cloth barriers. I'll set traps early before they multiply. I'll set up a trail camera and maybe even get a cat. Mistake 5, bed too close to fence. I planted a bed directly against the fence, inches away from bushes and weeds. Between root competition, shade, and hiding places for pests, that bed never stood a chance. Next year, I'll pull that bed a foot away from the fence and clear out the invasive roots. I'll dig deep, crush them, cut them all. That way, I'll give my bed a fighting chance. Mistake 6, letting weeds win. Once I fell behind on weeding, it was game over. Weeds choked out crops, they stole nutrients, and made everything harder to manage. Next year, I'll start with clean compost. I'll mulch heavily right after planting and keep up with weekly weeding sprints before things spiral out of control. This year, it felt like every wave of weeds I pulled, another one sprung up in its place. It was relentless. The next one is going to break a lot of hearts. One of the hardest parts of gardening isn't the planting itself, it's the timing. If you've ever sown something too late and watched it bolt, or too early and had it killed by frost, or struggled in its own container because you couldn't put it outside, you know how frustrating it can be. And honestly, who has time to keep flipping through charts, catalogs, or watching long videos just to figure out what to plant this week? That's why I'm building a text-based sowing system. It's simple. Every week you get a quick text to your phone telling you exactly what crops to sow in your zone. No apps, no digging around, no guesswork. The first 300 people on the waitlist get the Founders Discount, just $1 a month. The link's down in the description. Don't let bad timing ruin another season. Let the system do the planning for you. Mistake number 7. Neglecting my peppers. My peppers were the heartbreak of the season. I didn't support them, I didn't cover them, and nearly every pepper ended up with a worm in it. Next year, I'll cage my peppers early on and use row covers to block pests with netting. I'll finally get clean, worm-free harvest. I'm also going to grow some super hots next year, and I'll be starting those early in the spring. Comment fire if you're a chili head and you want to see more pepper-specific content. Okay, mistake number 8, grocery store potatoes. Here's the mistake that still stings a little bit. I planted grocery store potatoes. I thought I'd save money, but I brought blackleg disease into my soil. Next year, only certified seed potatoes. They cost more up front, but they're disease-free and far safer for the garden long term. It's like investing in good quality compost. Mistake number 9, overcrowding crops. I ran out of space early and crammed crops way too close together. Instead of maximizing space, I stressed the plants and reduced yields. Next year, I'll map out spacing carefully in winter. Resist the urge to overfill in succession sow instead of crowding everything all at once. Mistake number 10, late planting with the 3 sisters. Another mistake I made was waiting too long to plant my beans and squash in my 3 sisters bed. The corn went in first and shot up, but by the time the beans and squash were planted, they never really caught up. The beans didn't climb the corn like they should have, and the corn actually only got 3 or 4 feet. And the squash never had a chance to spread out and suppress the weeds. The whole system fell apart because the timing was off, and it was in the side bed competing with the established plants on the other side of the fence. It was failed to begin with. Next year, I'll plant all 3 crops closer together. Corn first, but beans and squash within about a week so that they can grow in balance and actually support one another like the method is designed to do. Mistake number 11, not protecting my onion seedlings. I also failed to protect my onion seedlings early in the season. I started them late, and by the time that they went out, they were small and vulnerable. Between cold snaps and pests, they never took off the way that they should have. I probably lost 50%. I still harvested about 25 onions, but they could have been better. Next year, I'm starting onions earlier and covering them with fleece right away so that they stay warm, they stay protected, and get the strong start that they need for good, healthy bulbs come later in the season. So those were my biggest gardening mistakes this year. Some were preventable, others were hard lessons, but they all taught me something. Gardening is trial and error, and I'm still learning every season. If you've made any of these mistakes, or mistakes of your own, drop them in the comments. Sharing them helps all of us become better gardeners. And finally, a big, warm thank you to our channel members, Roxy5, Tam Barb, Ruth Treader, Shannon Calhoun, and Camille Leon. Your support makes these videos possible, and members always get first access to the seeds that I save for my own garden, plus early access to all of these videos. I usually schedule them in advance, sometimes weeks in advance. So if you want to catch those videos before anybody else, consider joining.